Thanks for listening to the Wayback Chronicles podcast. My name is Noel Kurz, and I'm joined by my lifelong friends, Keith Abbott and Steve McKelkey. On this podcast, we look at the greatest events that have happened since 1970 to the present.
We are continuing with a mashup of 1995. And the last three episodes, we've been able to cover a lot of different concepts between the sports of 95, the current events of 95, and also some of the technology of 95. But there is a lot more to cover. And so between Noel Kirsch and Steve McKelkey and myself, Keith Abbott, we are going to be continuing with covering the year 1995 and some of the other things that were notable for that year. So I'll turn it over to you, Noel. Start us off about some of the things that you discovered and uncovered in your research about what we've missed in 95.
Yeah, so the Wayback Chronicles research team came back with some information about the movies of 1995.
You spared no expense for those guys.
No, we get exactly what we pay for.
It's true. It's true.
They are a crack team of experts in the research area. So there's some movies in here that the research team came back and said the top movie of 1995 was called Heat. You ever heard of that?
No.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, John Voight.
I did remember that name. Yeah, okay.
I don't guess I ever watched it. Steve, you ever watched that?
I've never heard of it. It's not on my list.
Yeah, me either. I don't. Anyway, it's number one, so it was worth mentioning. Die Hard with a Vengeance was also 95. So this is the one of the in the Die Hard series, of course, with Bruce Willis, iconic Christmas movie.
Absolutely.
Braveheart was in 1995. Mel Gibson. Scottish warrior. It's about the Scottish warrior William Wallace leading his countrymen into a rebellion to free his homeland from the tyranny of King Edward I of England. I mean, some iconic one-liners and stuff from that movie. I mean, just awesome movie.
The first half of that movie is probably some of the best cinema ever. I love that movie. And, interestingly enough, even though it got the Academy Award, it didn't even break the top 10 in revenue for that year. Did you know that?
Is that right?
Huh. Yeah. No. I was looking through the top 10 and it did not crack the top 10 as far as gross revenue.
That's crazy. Yeah. 75.6 million in revenue.
Yeah. See, the number 10 was Jumanji at 262 million. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. So Jumanji was a good movie. That was the first of the Jumanji movies. Was released in 95. Robin Williams, Kirsten Dunst, Bonnie Hunt, Jonathan Hyde. Good movie. Casino by Martin Scorsese movie. Casino. Robert De Niro, Sharon Stone. Robert De Niro was busy that year.
He was busy.
De Niro, Sharon Stone, Joe Pesci, James Woods.
I just watched that the other day. It's a fascinating movie about the whole inner workings of what casino life was like during that time.
Yep. Toy Story was released in 1995. That was a amazing movie. Of course, had Tom Hanks, voice of Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Don Rickles, Jim Varney. Excellent movie.
It was great.
And then one of my personal favorites, and Keith, I know you.
Oh yeah, I know where you're going.
You share my love for all things space, but Apollo 13.
It's one of the best movies ever.
It really is, and the soundtrack too to go with it, just amazing. So
I can't tell you the number of times I've seen it. It's endless.
It's so good.
It's one of those movies you absolutely know what's going to happen, but you're still on the edge of your seat the whole time.
Yeah,
100%. It's really good. Directed by Ron Howard, Tom Hanks, Bill Paxton, Kevin Bacon, Gary Sinise.
Yeah.
Great movie. Let's see, what else did I have on my list? GoldenEye.
Yep.
One of the best, not only one of the best Bond movies, but then also the video game that came out, GoldenEye.
Yes.
I played GoldenEye.
That is still considered the best video game of all time. And what's crazy about that is usually video games that are ported from movies are terrible. But that game has set the standard of still being, to this day, what people regard as the best video game ever.
Sounds
Yeah,
like
it's in 64, wasn't it?
yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
about to say. I think it was in 64.
Yeah.
Is what it was released on.
And that was Pierce Brosnan's debut as James Bond. And I remember the opening sequence, or not the opening sequence, but a lot of that movie was centered around that Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Which actually just came crashing down within the last, about the last year. It finally kind of dilapidated to a point of decay, and the bridge that held up some of the instrumentation crashed, and it was crazy. So yeah, great movie.
Yeah, I remember seeing a video of it coming crashing down.
Yeah, wild to see that.
Yeah, it was.
I had a chance one spring break to go with a friend of mine to Puerto Rico, and we went and toured it when it was still active. It was a really, really cool facility. So it was really neat to see that, and then see it in a movie and go, oh man, I've been there. It's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. Batman Forever. It's another one of the Batman movies. Val Kilmer again, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey, Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I'm sure I saw it, but I can't remember it. It didn't stand out in my mind, I guess, as one of the Batman series. There've been a lot of good movies in that Batman series, but I don't remember that one for some reason.
See, that one to me, other than probably the original Michael Keaton, that was probably my favorite one. It was also, wasn't that the one that had Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face?
Yep.
I thought it was a great movie. It was campy and in a great comic book way. Kind of took itself a little less seriously, but I thought it was a good ride. I really did.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
awesome.
highest grossing movie of 95. 184.
Yeah,
$184
million. It's insane.
Pretty crazy.
One movie didn't gross a lot of money, but I thought was great was a movie called Friday. Had Ice Cube and Chris Tucker in it. It's Friday, and Craig and Smokey must come up with $200 they owe a local bully, or they won't be a Saturday. That's kind of the synopsis of the movie. But it's one of those, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just kind of easy to watch. There's not much that happens in the movie, but it's just fun to watch.
It's a good no-brainer. Sit down and enjoy.
It is. It's a good one. Billy Madison.
Oh man.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, Bill, go ahead. You can't stop there.
Billy Madison, one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies of all time. Just hilarious. Anything that Adam Sandler's got to be one of my favorite actors. Movies, all of his movies have got like that Adam Sandler touch. Like they've just got some off the wall weird sequence in there that doesn't, like, what happened there when he came up with that, like the Happy Gilmore scenes, like the dream scenes and stuff in the Happy Gilmore movies. I mean, Billy Madison had like this, I mean, they just all have some like, what the heck was going on when they wrote that? But Billy Madison is a great movie. Came from 1995.
Yeah. And one to mention that was super expensive and it kind of bombed was Waterworld. Did you all see this movie?
Gosh, no.
Okay, so it was fascinating. It was basically a futuristic film. Basically, the polar ice caps have melted, so the water levels of the Earth have risen above all land. Basically, so you're living on water, and so. But basically, it was at the time it was the most expensive film ever made. In fact, Kevin Costner had to foot some of the bill to finish it, and it basically released to mediocre success and some poor reviews. It was pretty mixed. They liked the premise of the futuristic setting, but the execution and the acting they felt was really off. So, but it was, I mean, just for being the most expensive movie at the time, I mean, it grossed $264 million, but it still, I think it never really recouped what it made. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, back in the day too, that was Kevin Costner's heyday, and pretty much anything that he touched kind of turned to gold. But yeah, I remember that was kind of one of those that didn't quite land with a lot of people. But
it was being forced a little too hard to be dealt that hand. It didn't quite work, unfortunately.
Yeah,
still 88 million though.
So, crazy.
No chump change.
Nope.
No. Sorry. The numbers I'm doing is worldwide. I think you're doing domestic, right?
Yeah.
Just to clarify why the numbers are different.
So. Steve's talking in pesos. We're talking American dollars.
Their money is a little stronger right now. So.
That's right. That's true.
That's right. Don't hate.
Another SNL alumni and one of my favorite actors. Rest in peace, Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
Chris Farley, David Spade, Brian Dennehy, Bo Derek. That movie was so awesome.
It's still
Loved it.
to me, it's the standard of which comedy should be.
It's so funny.
Like I decided it was finally time to show my son this show, right? And typical, like, just getting into college and high school, always on the phone and everything. And we're starting to watch this show, and he's just kind of partially into it. By the end of the movie, he's doubled over in laughter, phone nowhere to be found, just cracking up on every scene. And he's like, "That is great." I'm like, "Next is Three Amigos." Just throwing it out there. So yeah, oh, it's so great. Every scene in that is so perfectly executed.
You know where the gym is?
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Check it out.
I'll find it.
Pretty girl there, Richard.
What's your favorite little rascal? Is it Alpha or Spanky? Sinner.
Yeah. So good, man. I love that movie.
I forgot that was 95. I am so glad you brought that up.
I'm bringing up this next movie only because it was, believe it or not, we went and saw, it's Pocahontas.
Oh yeah.
One of our fraternity brothers got married in 1995, and for his bachelor party, we went and watched Pocahontas.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. So that was fun. That was in 95.
To each his own, man. Go for it.
Hey, man. Hey, whatever.
Hey, I saw The Lion King for one of my birthdays, so I can't really judge,
Not for your bachelor party, though.
This is true.
Yeah.
Okay. Different story.
All right. This movie I love. Sadly, it's called The American President. Michael Douglas, Annette Bening, Martin Sheen. I just like everything about the presidency and the White House and all that, and the whole storyline is pretty cool. He's a widowed U.S. president. He's running for re-election, and Annette Bening is an environmental lobbyist, and they fall in love. And it's a really cool. It's just a really good movie. If you've never seen it, take the time to go get The American President, watch it. It's really good.
Yeah,
good movie.
That was a great flick. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, really, really good. There were a couple of movies. I'm not going to talk about this really in depth, but 95, kind of given the growth of the internet, I noticed that there were two movies in particular that were about the internet. One was called The Net.
A clever name.
Yeah, right. And then the other one is Hackers. So that both those movies kind of made the scene. So you kind of just see just in the lives of the in the movies that were being made that the internet was starting to kind of take hold in pop culture at the time.
Yeah.
Yep. The Bridges of Madison County. It's Clint Eastwood directed movie. He was in it too with Meryl Streep. Good movie. Haven't seen it, but I hear it's great.
I've seen it. It is good. Like, you go in as a dude going, this is going to be painful, but it was actually really well done. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. May have to watch that. Sorry, I already mentioned The Net, but Sandra Bullock was in that movie. And then one of my favorite movies, Crimson Tide. I like submarine movies, like the I just
Hunt for October and all those.
Yeah, Hunt for October, man.
Yeah.
Anything submarines and military stuff I like. So this and that, Gene Hackman, Denzel Washington in it. Great movie. If you have never seen that, that's also one to watch.
Yeah, very tense.
Yeah, Mr. Holland's Opus with Richard Dreyfuss was from 95.
It's great.
That's a great movie.
It definitely hit a different pulse for us too, being people that were in band, just seeing the life of a music director. Just pretty impressive. And all of us have had and been able to witness some cool lives of some amazing directors, right? And so to kind of see that happen in real life, and plus the movie, it just kind of hits home.
Yep. Well, heck, our director from Texas Tech is one of those I would chalk up to a very influential person.
100%.
Not only while we were there, but afterwards too. Just the involvement that he's got, Mr. Beard's got on all of us still today. I mean, great movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
The last one I had was called Judge Dredd, and
Oh yeah,
Sylvester Stallone,
Sly.
the
I
Sly,
forgot about that one.
yeah, dystopian future. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm reading that in
That's
his
like
voice, but
Arnold. That's Arnold
yeah,
kind of. You kind of went.
yeah.
You kind of went Austrian
Sorry,
on that. Yeah.
I got the wrong voice, but anyway, yeah, it's kind of from a dystopian future. Judge Joseph Dredd, the most famous judge or police officer with instant field judiciary powers, is convicted for a crime he did not commit, must face his murderous counterpart. So that was Judge Dredd. But there's a bunch of others. I didn't hit all of these. I mean, I just kind of picked out the ones that I know I had watched that were pretty good movies, and then some of these were just sort of the top movies of '95. But guys, did y'all have any others that y'all want to add to that list or anything?
The only other one I would mention is it made the top 10 worldwide gross was the Brad Pitt movie Seven. It was that horror movie based on the Seven Deadly Sins.
Yes.
So that's the only
Morgan Freeman?
movie. Yes. And that's the only movie I have actually had to walk out of, not because not because I didn't like it, but because who I was with was massively disturbed. So
Oh, really?
yeah. So and rightfully so, because it was a pretty dark flick, as far as what was going on in it. So I was kind of interested, but to this day I've never completed that movie. But I do know that it was a pretty high grosser that year. But I was perfectly happy to support who I was with that night. Let's put it that way. So.
I just saw one movie I forgot to mention, guys, and I would be remiss if I didn't bring this one up, but it's called While You Were Sleeping.
Oh yeah.
Sandra Bullock,
yeah.
Bill Pullman, Peter Gallagher, and Peter Boyle. My wife, I swear, I have probably seen this movie 7,000 times, because every time it comes on Lifetime or Hallmark or any of the other girly channels and it's on, we are watching it. And I have seen this movie so many times, it's ridiculous. But that 1995 gave us While You Were Sleeping.
Good stuff. That was a fun movie. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was good.
That was good. Yeah, that's what I had for movies. Steve, did you have any others?
No, Noel picked up most of them. Yeah, I'm a huge Batman fan, so I was happy to see that was one of the highest grossing movies of '95, and I still geek out every time I see Batman in the TV lineup for the day. And
so,
no
what about
TV?
What did y'all have for TV of the year?
I mean, basically the highest rated shows of '95. The top 4 were all on NBC. So ER was the most watched show of 1995, followed by Seinfeld, and followed by Friends, and then Caroline in the City. So those top 4 were all on NBC and were the highest watched, most watched, I guess, TV shows in 1985. So
was that from the 94-95 season or 95-96?
95 to 96.
Okay, so interestingly enough, 94-95, because I was trying to look at the bookends of all the way through same lineup. So for two seasons in a row, it was those 4 in the top.
The same stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, and was it, refresh my memory? Was it Friends, Seinfeld, and ER? Wasn't that all the same night?
Yes,
I know Friends and ER was the same night. Wasn't it Seinfeld in the middle?
Yeah. I think it was. I think they were all Thursday night. ER came on at 9:00.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then I think Friends and Seinfeld came on. Friends was probably 7, Seinfeld was 8, or vice versa. But something like that.
There. I thought so, but yeah, that was, you talk about a powerhouse.
Did you just see? I just noticed that our Dark Knight here is.
I've been too busy looking at stats.
Me too. I'm like, wow, Steve got awfully quiet and still.
It's so funny.
And I looked in there. Okay, for the listeners.
We're posting this on Instagram or something.
We have to. For the listeners, we were on video together, so we can actually see each other and stuff. And Steve is sitting in his room. It's not very well lit by any means, but he is sitting there. We were talking about Batman. The next thing we know, he's got on a Batman mask.
That's so funny.
Oh man,
I got to take the mask off because I cannot wear that and have my glasses.
I can't wait for you to go to Robin and say, Dave, who are you talking to in there? Batman. Batman.
Is there someone in there?
Batman.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Oh boy.
So
That's
cool thing,
amazing.
speaking of Seinfeld, in '95 was the 100th episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
okay.
was crazy to
That's
think.
all that.
Man,
That's
what a
crazy.
great show! I mean, that could be an episode in its own, is Friends and Seinfeld and all of those. Oh my gosh,
I was a late bloomer on Seinfeld. I don't think I really caught on to the first few seasons, and
I
then
didn't either.
Then I just happened to just watch it one day. I was like, "Holy cow! When's his next one coming on?" And
Yes, exactly.
I only know of one person. One of my friends just detests it, and what he doesn't like is he thinks that the clapping is all like a laugh track or like a track or whatever. Which I don't think it is. I think it's a live audience, but even if it is, I don't even listen. I don't even hear the clapping. The jokes and the humor is just so it's so funny, man.
yeah,
It's
totally.
awesome.
Oh, no doubt.
So some cool things about '95 was really just just the cable lineup, the amount of channels available really started to expand in '95, and I print up a list and just try to scan through this real quick. But one of the biggest ones it really started off the year. January 1 was History Channel launched,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, I saw that. Okay.
and I loved it when it first came out because it was history. I'm a history buff, and now let's say you get few hours of history after Storage Wars or whatever it is. But always thought that was a great format. The WB channel formed that year.
Golf Channel too.
Yeah, Golf Channel, Classic Sports Network, later known as ESPN Classic, popped up that year. The National Hockey League channel.
One of the shows that was popular back then, Home Improvement.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I just saw Tim Allen in comedy here just recently, about a month ago. He came and did a stand up at where we live. It was fun to see him.
I thought you were about to tell us that you ran into him like at the convenience store or something like that.
No.
Man,
I had no idea who he was.
Getting ready for another brush with stardom story
No,
from Keith.
I wished I had some more, but I'm really limited. So, but yeah.
You may have run into him a couple times. You have no idea.
Never known. Yeah, you're probably right. So
just some dude.
Yeah, just another dude. I was a pretty nice guy going places someday. I mean, like you say, you talk about Seinfeld and Friends. I can watch those today, and it's like no time has passed.
I know.
I was watching one. I don't remember where it was, but I saw it on television, and it was a double dip episode where George Costanza was double dipping at a party, and I'm like, oh my! And what's great about them is they're so relatable. They're like everyday things that they take and blow up.
They're timeless. I mean, like, yeah, you dipped. What do you mean?
Yeah,
well, you dipped. And you dipped again.
Yeah, that was the
one. I saw the one I saw the other day was the beached well episode where and what I like about them is that all the storylines are individual, but they're also tied together.
Yes.
So you've got Kramer who's out on the beach hitting golf balls into the ocean, and you have George who's at a beach that happens to be the same beach. And he's trying to impress this girl that he's with that he's a marine biologist. And there's a beached whale that comes up on the beach. And somebody's like, is anybody here a marine biologist? And of course, George, who's not a marine biologist, wades out into the water and he tells the story. He's telling the story in the cafe with Jerry and Kramer there. And he was, the way he told it, like he got thrown up on top of he calls it, I got thrown up on top of the fish. They were like, a mammal. He's like, whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, I could tell he couldn't breathe. And I reached into his blowhole and I pulled out the golf ball. And it was the one that
Kramer,
Kramer, he's like, was it a Titleist? He's like, yes. He's like, oh, hole in one. I love that. I love that show, man.
That episode and the Calzone episode. Have you seen that one with the George Steinbrenner and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's those two stick out to me, and the soup Nazi one too. Those were
no soup for you.
No soup for you.
Do y'all remember Jurassic Park being a TV show?
What?
Yeah,
I saw that. I was like, what? No way.
Yeah. I don't remember that at all.
Don't remember at all. It's they must have been trying to capitalize off the movie fame, but don't remember that at all.
Speaking of, they're still trying to capitalize off that because Another
Yeah.
one just came
Gosh.
out this year. But I thought it was pretty good. It got bad reviews. I thought it was pretty good.
I don't know, man.
It was kind of fun seeing all the old original guys with the new ones. It was fun.
Yeah, that's been done in my opinion. And like it was great, but
Mhm.
they have way overstayed their
Oh, yeah.
welcome.
Yeah, agreed.
Another in the area of TV debuts, I didn't have a whole lot. I looked through the list of TV debuts in '95. There weren't really a whole lot that was too noteworthy, but The Office, not that Office. Well, yeah, not that Office debuted. It was a show called The Office. This was on CBS. It starts with people I'd never heard of. They had 6 episodes. Only 5 of those aired, and then they canceled it. So the actual Office that we all know and love actually is the one that debuted on NBC in 2005 and ran till 2013. That Office debuted, like I said, in 10 years later. But on 1995, The Office, whatever the show is, and I've, like I said, I never heard of it, started and died. But
Interesting.
one that we have all heard of was News Radio.
Oh, yeah. I
Dave
remember.
Foley, Stephen Root, Andy Dick, Mara Tierney, Vicki Lewis, Joe Rogan, Condi Alexander.
I didn't remember Joe Rogan being in that. That's wild.
Yeah, and Phil Hartman was on that too.
No, he was so great in that show.
Oh, he ran for 5 seasons from 1995 to 1999, and it was the last sitcom that Phil Hartman starred in before his death in 1998. And I remember when he died. I mean, that was awful. Just
was
shocking news and stuff. That dude was so funny.
He's just got that instantly recognizable voice, that you just knew it was him. It's crazy.
He did so many good characters on SNL, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
his Reagan character was great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember that right now.
Yeah. And he did like the caveman or whatever, that character. I forgot the guy's name, but just awesome. Phil Hartman was one of a kind, but
he was legendary.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, what movies and TV shows stick out to you in 1995 that we've missed? I would love to get some feedback from each of you. Don't forget you can post, and don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page. Just look for Wayback Chronicles and make sure you add that, and then Twitter at Wayback Crons, CHRONS, and then also our Wayback Chronicles Instagram page. But yeah, send us some feedback. We'd love to hear what movies, what TV shows were some of the ones that you loved, because we probably have missed a couple, but those are the ones that stick out in our heads as the favorites.
Yep.
Awesome.
That's what our research department came back with.
They're pretty good. And we agreed with them to go ahead and we approved.
Exactly.
All right. Hey, so that's a wrap on TV and movies for 1995, and hope that you enjoyed a little visit to memory lane on that stuff. We're going to take you over to another episode of Mashup, where we're going to take you through music and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. So we'll see you in the next episode.
Take care, everybody.
Take care, buddy.
Thanks for listening to the Wayback Chronicles. All shows are written and produced by Noel, Keith, and Steve. Massive thanks to those who made these memories possible for us through the years. All songs, sounds, and effects have been attributed in the comments section and through links listed on waybackchronicles.podbean.com. We look forward to taking you way back again in the very near future.